Like inside the hearing. Here with me now, Florida Republican Congresswoman on the House Judiciary Committee, Laurel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what was it like today? Were you surprised that Democrats wanted to make it entirely political and wouldn't address some of the crime problems that seem addressable in places like New York, Chicago, and beyond?
Absolutely. So it was so important today to have actual victims of crime who could share the stories of their family and really share with us how these policies that DA Bragg has instituted up there, letting criminals out on bond, refusing to prosecute certain crimes, these have a real impact on families. And that's not about Republican or Democrat. So it was really surprising to see the efforts to politicize this hearing when, this is a problem that we need to really be addressing for Americans.
Well, it's really tough to address when you have some of your cohorts in Congress, particularly on the Democrat side, who are blaming some of the victims and family members, trying to minimize the pain that they've gone through. Because, this doesn't necessarily have to be a deflection from the former president, what he might or might not have done. I think it is appropriate to address some of the issues that are plaguing these big cities. And the fact that there are a lot of Americans, particularly vulnerable Americans, who feel unsafe walking around big cities that really used to feel safe, but it's not the same anymore. It has not been the same since the pandemic, and I'm not hearing enough solutions. And that's why people are moving away.
Well, exactly. And this was unfortunately a very predictable outcome. Prosecutors take an oath to uphold the law. No, they don't run to be a public defender. They run to uphold the law and make sure that their communities are kept safe. And when a DA comes into office and right from the outset of the administration says, here's this whole category of crimes that we're simply not going to prosecute, or tie the hands of judges so that they don't have the discretion to hold people on bond and keep them in custody, even when they have a violent, predatory criminal past. So, these families have seen their cities change. And unfortunately, it's not limited to New York. We're seeing that across the country where we have DAs who are refusing to do their job and uphold the law. So that's something in the Judiciary Committee that we're very interested in, is ensuring that we are seeing our criminal justice system effectuated appropriately across the country, and that these laws are being enforced and that our communities are safe. It's one of the promises that we made to Americans, was a nation that's safe.
Well, it's not tough to have sensible criminal justice reform because you don't have to arrest people for prostitution. I actually agree with Alvin Bragg about that. But when you've got 72% of violent felons who get out and are rearrested, maybe you need to incarcerate the really bad serial offenders they know nothing but recidivism. They do not know rehabilitation, and they have not earned the right to be out. That's a smart place to start. Take a smaller number of people and keep them locked up if they only intend to hurt other people, take their things, and make lives and cities miserable. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here.